It's Wes Barefoot with Path to Freedom, and thanks for joining me on this third episode of my franchising FAQ series. So if you tuned into the first couple of videos, we talked a little bit about why people invest in franchises, but I want to go into more detail on that topic in this video today because it's a question I get all the time. Wes, it seems very expensive to get into a franchise business. You have to pay, this upfront fee, a franchise fee to become a franchisee. And then most franchises have ongoing fees, usually a royalty, which is structured as a percentage of your gross revenue. So why would I want to make this large initial investment and then give up a percentage of my revenue on an ongoing basis? And that's a good question. And different franchisors add value to their franchisees in different ways. And I'll preface everything else I'm about to say by making it clear that not every franchise is created equally. There are franchises out there, in my opinion, that probably don't offer enough value to justify the upfront and the ongoing fees. So the process I take people through is all about finding a franchise business that's not only a great fit for them, but also makes sense from an investment standpoint. So the way I look at this is to really feel confident to invest in a franchise business, you have to obviously understand your cost. What is it going to cost me to become a franchisee? And what are the ongoing fees that I'm going to have? And then of course you have to understand, how is the franchisor adding value to me as a franchisee? And you should, for a good franchise investment, be able to very clearly see that the value that you get as a franchisee outweighs the cost associated with being a franchisee. And different franchisors add value in different ways, but some very common ways in which you could expect to receive value as a franchisee are number one, the training, the support, the systems, and the processes. I alluded to this in an earlier video, but with a good franchise, it puts you in a position to run much faster. In all likelihood, you should be able to ramp your business up a lot quicker than if you were, trying to build your own business from scratch and essentially trying to reinvent the wheel. The training, the systems, the processes, these are all things that a new franchisee can tap into and just gets them off to a much quicker start. Secondly, there's the territory itself. Not all franchises are structured this way, but many are structured so that when you pay the franchise fee and become a franchisee, you're actually buying a territory. And that territory is an asset. There's a monetary value that can be associated with that territory, which comes into play when you're ready to sell your business. And we'll talk more about exit strategy and exit value here in just a moment. In addition to that, there's branding and marketing. Many franchise companies have very reputable brands that are recognized by consumers. So when a new franchisee opens that brand in a new market, they're going to be able to generate clientele quicker because there's already consumer awareness with the brand. And then on top of that, good franchise companies have great marketing teams in place, tons of resources and support that franchisees can tap into to better market and advertise their business. And then there's buying power. So depending on the type of business that the franchisor is in, they can usually leverage the buying power of the entire system of all of the other franchisees, whatever it is that they're buying, materials, in some cases, marketing and advertising, all types of different ways franchisors can leverage buying power. But what that does is it reduces the cost for an individual franchisee. And in many cases, the buying power alone, the reduction in cost, is enough to offset the ongoing fees, the royalties, and these things. And then there's shared learning. This is one that people tend to overlook, but good franchise systems facilitate shared learning amongst their franchisees, meaning it's in their best interest and every franchisee's interest to learn from each other. Everyone's playing on the same team. Everyone's in the same business. So they can share best practices and they can find ways to learn from each other. And over time, the business and the systems improve as a result. And that can be incredibly beneficial, especially to a new franchisee who's just starting out, to be able to learn from other franchisees that are already in the business. And then finally, there's exit value. As I alluded to earlier, if and when the time comes to sell your business, being part of a strong franchise system is going to make it much easier to find qualified, interested buyers and actually get a higher value for your business because of all of the things that we just talked about. So those are some common examples of ways in which franchisors add value to their franchisees and why it can make great sense to invest in a franchise and why you can actually, in many cases, expect to see a higher ROI on your investment, even though you do have the startup fees and the ongoing expenses. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to catch the upcoming videos in my franchising FAQ series.